1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thank you for that outstanding guitar backup that you provided as we began our lesson today called Jamming in C. Perhaps you've watched some of my other lessons in this series, Jamming in G, Jamming in A. They've been very, very popular, and the reason why they're popular is because I take you through a process of getting you to improvise in this key using some tools that I'm going to teach you along the way. So a lot of you out there watching are tied to tabs, and you have got this big question: how do I begin to improvise? How do I begin to play solos of what I feel and what I want to play? And this lesson's going to help you move along in that journey. Okay, so if you're watching here on the website as a Gold Pick member, you've got the scale tabs down below just to help remind you what the major scale is, because that's the ammo that we're going to be using today. But the rest of the lesson is using our ears and our heart to create music in the key of C. There's also some jam track MP3s there for you Gold Pick members so that you can practice jamming along. And I'm excited. We're going to get you playing in the key of C, get you really familiar with this fretboard on the mandolin when it comes to C, and get you creating. Let's begin. The first thing we're going to do is cover the stepping stones. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm referring to the C major scale. And I call them stepping stones because they remind me of like if you needed to cross a river and you're trying to find a way across, and there are visible rocks where you can put one foot after another to get across to the other side. That's what the notes of the major scale are going to provide for us in the key. That doesn't mean that that's all that we're going to play whenever we're playing a key, but it is the notes. They are the notes that are going to get us started. So I'm going to review quickly the major scale. I will say that that's kind of a prerequisite for being able to press forward in this lesson, is to have a handle on the C major scale. If you don't know what that is, go over and access my C major scale study. That's an in-depth study of the 2-octave C major scale, closed and open, going up the neck, and that will give you the ammo that you need. Also, you do have the tab for that available here on that page. Let me just review that C major scale for you. We're going to start here on the 5th fret of the G string. Open, 2, 3, 5, open, 2, 3, and that's 1 octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now it keeps going, of course. 3, 5, open, 1, 3, 5, 7, and then we have to shift a little bit in the key of C to get that 2nd octave up to that 8th fret. And so often whenever we're playing in the key of C, and you'll see this as we go through the lesson, we're going to move from what I would just call a home position, where our index finger's hovering over that 2nd fret, to shifting up 1 fret to be able to reach that high C with our pinky. And there are various ways that we're going to craftily do that, and I'll share that with you as we go. Okay, first thing I want us to do is just play through this major scale. Let's start with the lower octave at first. And Daniel, I'm going to ask that you just provide us some C chord rhythm. And what I'm wanting you to see and hear is that all of these notes sound good and safe over the C major chord. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. And back down. Try it with me again. Can we try it up an octave? So we're going to start with, to play this up an octave, let's start with our index finger there on that 3rd fret. And we're going to get 3, 5, 7, 8. 3, 5, 7, 8. 1, 2, ready, go. Again. Keep in mind that that 7th fret there is the same note as your open E string. So whenever we play the 8th fret, we're playing the same note as the 1st fret here. So when we play up 2 octaves at once, and I covered this in the scale study, you can choose to do a couple things. You can use the open string, and whenever you get up here, you can just shift up and slide. Or whenever you play your open E, you can shift up then and get your F note there. But let's try a 2-octave C major scale. 1, 2, ready, go. All right. So we have a handle on our C major scale, and if you need to review that some more, you can. But I want to show you one further step, and that's that the C major scale notes sound good over most of the chords that you're going to play when you're in the key of C. So the 3 chords that are most common in the key of C are going to be your C major, which is your root chord, and then your 4 chord, which is going to be an F, and your 5 chord, which is a G. So what we're going to do is play just a 1-4-5 progression, kind of like we did when we started out the video. And you and I are going to play up and down the major scale. And I want you to just listen and see how it sounds pretty good. Sounds like we're making music. 1, 2, ready, go. So it's comforting to know that when we learn these stepping stones, these major scales, that it's going to provide us a safe place to go whenever we're improvising over most every chord that you're going to encounter in the key of C. Now, I want to get you improvising in a basic sense, but it is improvising. We're going to take this lower scale octave, starting here on the 5th fret, and I want us to begin playing over a progression, and we're going to randomize those notes. So if you still need work on playing up and down the scale, you can continue to go straight up the scale and back down. But what I'd like for you to begin doing, and I'll demonstrate, is to freely choose which scale notes you want to play. They can be in a pattern, they can just be random, but I want you to start gaining the freedom of being able to reach for a C major scale note and playing it at will. Now, you don't have to keep playing these quarter notes. You can hold some out as half notes and let your mind reset and think about where those next notes are. But this is something that I want you to practice over and over again until you get comfortable being able to grab whatever C major scale notes that you might want. So I'll play through and give you an example, and then we'll just trade off. We'll keep the progression going and let them try at home. 1, 2, ready, go. Try it. Now I'm going to try the higher octave. Try. Okay, so repeat that part of the video if you need to, or just use the jam tracks here at the various speeds to where you get comfortable being able to noodle around on that C major scale, both the lower octave and the upper octave. I want to introduce some other notes to you on the neck that we haven't looked at so far, but are in the C major scale. Whenever we start our C major scale, we start down here on the root. However, there are 3 more notes beneath that that are part of the C major scale that you're going to use all the time when you're playing in the key of C. So this 4th fret, 2nd fret, and open. Those are G, A, B, walking up there. So let's try randomizing, improvising these scale notes once again, but let's begin to try to incorporate some of those in there as well. Whenever you are shifting up to maybe get that high C, you can try it various ways. If you start finding yourself getting in a rut or a pattern, try to break that. And we might actually slide. This is one thing I like to do, is slide from 5 to 7. That puts me in position to be able to reach that high C note with my pinky. Let's try it again, Daniel. 1, 2, ready, go. You try it. Watch how I'll slide. You try. Okay, how'd you do? If you've never done this type of thing before, it's going to be challenging at first. If you're not familiar with the key of C scale, it's going to be challenging. But many of you that have only played things off of tab are having a kind of a brain bender moment because you're being asked to supply the notes that we hear, right? And one of the dangers of tab, I think tab's a great tool, right? But I've said for years, one of the dangers there is to get dependent on that and only be able to produce notes that are given to you on that music. Now we're having to make these adult decisions about the scale notes and what we're going to do there. So what I'd like for you to do to challenge you is play through those jam tracks, do it 50 times if you need at a slow speed to where these stepping stones, these scale notes begin to light up for you and you don't have to guess anymore where those major scale notes are, okay? And be able to do that in the key of C. Once you get to that point where you don't have to think, oh, was it 3rd fret or 5th fret? Was it 2nd fret or 4th fret? Then we're going to be able to press on in this lesson, and I'm going to continue to unlock your improvising ability in this, okay? So in the next video segment, I'm going to start giving you some challenges, playing with a purpose, aiming for certain notes that might sound better than others whenever we're going to the next chords. If you're watching somewhere like YouTube or Facebook, I'd love to have you come over to the website as a Gold Pick member, banjobenclark.com. You can access this full 30-plus minute lesson as well as the other jamming videos in the different keys. Download the tabs for the scales and also use the Jam Track MP3s. For those of you watching on the site, let's jump in and start playing with some purpose. You try it.